Coming up, the verdict on the Hillel House sexual assault trial. And later, Senator Warren leads the race for the presidency.
Big Ten tournament season is finally here. I'll tell you what to expect from wrestling and women's basketball later in sports.
We've had quite the turnaround in weather recently, and this weekend we near 70 degrees. More to you on another night this weekend in just a bit.
All that and more coming up on this Friday morning edition of DITV News. Don't go anywhere. DITV News starts right now. Good morning and thank you for tuning in. I'm John Chenoweth. Last August, former Iowa Hillel director David Weltman was accused of the sexual abuse of a minor. Weltman pleaded not guilty to the charge of second-degree sexual abuse. In documents from the charge in August, the victim claimed that Weltman picked him up and took him to a private room where he was inappropriately touched. On Thursday, the three-day trial came to a close and a verdict was announced. DITV News Director Emily Callahan has a decision from outside the Johnson County Courthouse.
Yesterday afternoon, former Iowa Hillel director David Weltman was convicted in criminal court of second-degree sexual assault. This conviction comes after a months-long investigation into his assault of a minor during Hebrew lessons at the Hillel House. Weltman was taken into custody after the verdict was announced, where he will remain until his April 27th sentencing. Reporting from the Johnson County Courthouse, Emily Callahan, DITV News.
As Emily mentioned, Weltman's sentencing will take place in April. The location has yet to be determined, although Weltman's punishment hasn't been decided. Sexual abuse in the second degree is punishable in Iowa by up to 25 years in prison. For more on this story, check out the print edition of this news, which is on stands now. Now, with weather, hopefully, I'm just hoping for some warm weather. That's really all I care about. It's been cold. I'm ready to move on. Cole, what do you got for us today?
Thanks, John. We really should have some of that this weekend. This morning, it's going to be 43 and sunny, which is a little cold still, but later on this evening, we'll start to get down into the 30s before we get into the really good weather on this weekend. So it seems that the spring break weather is already coming up on us. As Saturday, we get up to 60 degrees with some sun during the day and only dropping down to 45 at night. Before Sunday, we hit 67, nearing 70 that day during the day with a lot of sun, and dropping down to only 53 that night. And then Monday, we're going to be in the high 50s with some rain and dropping down to the low 30s. And Tuesday, we'll be staying in more of the mid 50s and dropping down to the low 40s with some decent amount of sun. So it seems that this spring break weather may be coming a little soon for Iowa City. Back to you, John.
Thank you, Cole. Senator Elizabeth Warren officially dropped out of the Democratic presidential race. Warren initially started out as a frontrunner in the Democratic Party, but was unable to hold that lead. After disappointing results from Super Tuesday, Senator Warren decided to call it quits. We have DITV reporter Elizabeth Neruda in the newsroom to tell us more about Warren's decision to leave. How did Elizabeth Warren go from one of the most popular candidates to dropping out?
Well, like you said, John, she just could not gain enough traction after Super Tuesday. She did have a strong following in Iowa, both on campus and in Iowa overall, with her Iowa organizing team being one of the largest that she put together, with over 1,000 staffers. But when caucus day came, she came in third, only definitively winning Johnson County, which is the bluest in the county. And when the other primaries came up, she just did not do as well as expected. There are a lot of circumstances that led to her suspending her campaign, a lot of which that I can't speak to directly, but after Super Tuesday, she just could not see a clear path to getting the nomination.
And how did students feel after Warren suspended her campaign?
Many students are very upset. Hawkeyes for Warren was a huge group on campus, and their social media presence and persistent volunteering was a big reason that Warren did so well in Johnson County. Now that she has suspended her campaign, a lot of students feel like there is no longer a candidate who can effectively respond to the issues and pass the policies that Warren was fighting for. And a lot of locals fear that there is no longer a strong female candidate in the race, citing possible sexist undertones. If Warren was a man and trying to pass the policies that she was, she might still be in the race.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for that take. Primary season is in full swing, and with candidates dropping like flies, it is currently a tight race between former Vice President Joe Biden and Senator Bernie Sanders. When it comes to primary elections, the number to watch is delegates, not votes. Currently, Biden has 610 and Sanders has 541 delegates. The Democratic Party started out with the most diverse group of candidates for the nominee ever, with 6 women, more people than color than ever before on the debate stage. Now the 2 front-running candidates left in the race are 2 Caucasian males. March 10th brings the next round of the primaries covering Missouri, Michigan, North Dakota, Mississippi, Washington, and Idaho. For more information, be sure to check out thedailyiowan.com. Big Ten tournament season is coming up. You don't want to hear from me? Let's toss it over to Maddie.
Starting today, Iowa wrestling and women's basketball will be on the road until Sunday to start their journey of the Big Ten tournament for their quest to be crowned the champion. But before we get into all of that, let's talk about the Iowa men's basketball team. The Hawks are looking to finish up their regular season in Champaign on Sunday when they take on the Fighting Illini. Illinois is currently ranked 4th in the Big Ten standings, with Iowa not so far away at 7th. Iowa had the upper hand against Illinois back in February, but both teams have gone through a lot since then, and it will be anyone's game. A win on Sunday would give Iowa as high as the 4th seed to give them the double bye, or as low as the 8th seed with over 100 scenarios still in play. But more importantly, a win would give them a much-needed confidence boost after having a disappointing loss against Purdue on Tuesday. Come back on Monday where we will give you a better look at where Iowa might be seated at prior to the Big Ten tournament. Now let's get into what everyone came here for. Let's start in Piscataway, New Jersey, where the Iowa wrestling team will travel to begin the Big Ten tournament. The Hawks will look to build off an incredible regular season after going 13-0, something they haven't done since 2009 and the 2010 season. The Hawks have a lot of tournament experience heading into tomorrow's matchups. Spencer Lee, Alex Marinelli, and Michael Kemmerer will be competing in the championships for their 3rd time in their careers. Lee was a runner-up in 2019 and placed 3rd in 2018 with a 5-2 record in both of those appearances. Marinelli won the 165-pound championship last year and placed 6th as a redshirt freshman in 2018, going 2-3 in 5 matches. Kemmerer competed at 157 in 2017, but fell short as a redshirt freshman, going 2-1 overall. He did manage to place 6th in 2018 before injury resulted in him defaulting from the tournament. Kemmerer will look to take his first appearance at 174. These 3 Hawkeyes will be just a few to keep an eye on for the Big Ten tournament. Now heading back to the Midwest, the Iowa women's basketball team will have their first tournament matchup later today at approximately 9 p.m. in Indianapolis against Ohio State. The Hawks will look to repeat in the tournament this year after claiming the title back in 2019, and they know that they will have their hands full.
Yeah, we're just really excited, especially after our run last year. We know how much fun the Big Ten tournament can be, and I just love the atmosphere in Indianapolis and just how competitive the tournament is. It's hard to predict who's going to win games because all the teams in the Big Ten are so good.
With all of these games going on in the short amount of time, it takes great coaches to help get the players into the right mindset, something that Iowa will have an advantage of.
Mentally and physically prepared to play 3 games in 3 days, and it's a really fun atmosphere, so adrenaline definitely helps with that. But our coaches do a really good job of prepping us for those quick turnarounds, and yeah, we're just looking forward to a good weekend. Hopefully we can get a couple wins down there.
While the Big Ten tournament is important for the Hawks, head coach Lisa Bluter has her sights set for a little bit further down the road.
I would hope that the NCAA selection committee would look at the body of our work over 29 games and not just focus on the Big Ten tournament. I think a good showing in the Big Ten tournament could even get us up to a 2 seed. You hate to think of the other way around, right? You hate to think that a poor performance could take you out of hosting. I think that's a reality.
We won't know until after the tournament if the Hawks will be able to host the first few rounds in Iowa City. But if the Hawks manage to pull that off, it will be a huge advantage over their competition. But come back on Monday to see the results from both of the tournaments and men's basketball's last regular season game. John, back to you.
Thank you, Maddie. We have some good news for all those cookie lovers out there. Today is National Oreo Cookie Day. The chocolate and cream cookies were invented in 1912 by the late Sam J. Porcello. Porcello spent 34 years working as a Nabisco food scientist, and it's safe to say that the Oreo is one of his best inventions. The cookie is almost 108 years old and comes in many different varieties and flavors, such as mint, double stuff, and birthday cake. Milk's favorite cookies can also be enjoyed in many different foods, such as an Oreo cake, Oreo pie, or Oreo balls. Make sure to celebrate this tasty holiday by picking up a pack of Oreos and a gallon of milk on your way home. Thank you for tuning in to this morning of DITV. I'm John Chenoweth. Have a good day, Iowa City.